Okay, I wasn't even gonna make this video today, but what I just watched happen in that Minnesota game has me so mad I can't even think straight right now. Lexi Hall just got her face completely demolished by Kayla McBride's elbow, and I mean demolished. And these refs acted like they didn't even see it happen. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham gets fined every time she tries to protect Caitlin Clack. Coaches are getting thrown out for speaking up, and Commissioner Cathy is somewhere getting lit at another event pretending her league isn't falling apart. But here's what's really got me heated. This isn't random. I've been watching this all season, and there's a clear pattern of how they're treating the Indiana Fever compared to everybody else. And I got receipts, so don't even try to tell me I'm being dramatic. So check this. The Fever just lost to Minnesota, and it wasn't even close. But that's not what has me mad. What has me mad is watching Lexi Hall get straight up assaulted by Kayla McBride, and the refs just let it slide like it was a normal basketball play. I watched Aaliyah Boston's face when it happened, and you could tell she was thinking the same thing I was. How is that not a flagrant foul? This girl got elbowed in the face so hard, I thought she was going to need stitches, but the refs just kept the game moving like nothing happened. And where's Commissioner Cathy during all this? Y'all know where she is, out here living her best life, getting her checks, acting like she doesn't see what's happening to her players in her league. Every time something like this happens, Cathy stays quiet. Every single time.
I think about 5 or 6. I have to go back and look at the schedule, but I don't see them winning any more games, guys. I just got to be honest. I take that back. I see them winning 1, and that is against the Chicago Sky. I do see them winning that game, but I think they got Phoenix, Seattle, Chicago, the Lynx again.
Now, let me talk about Sophie Cunningham for a minute, because this woman is really out here taking fines left and right just for trying to protect her teammate, and I respect the hell out of her for it. Sophie called out the refs for not protecting Caitlin Clark, and what happened? The WNBA hit her with a fine. She made a TikTok about how the officiating is trash, and they fined her again. This woman is getting penalized for speaking the truth, while refs let players literally assault her teammates with no consequences. But here's what's crazy. Every time Sophie gets fined, her popularity goes up. Her jersey sales go up, her podcast gets more listeners, her social media followers increase. The WNBA is accidentally making her more famous every time they try to punish her. That's some backwards logic right there. And you know what the fans are doing? They're starting GoFundMe campaigns to pay her fines. They're turning these punishments into community events. That's how much people support what she's doing. Tyler Marsh from Chicago got thrown out of a game for defending his players, and when he gave his interview after, he said something that really stuck with me. He said, "There's no accountability on the other side of it." Think about that for a second. Players get fined. Coaches get ejected, teams get penalized. But what happens to refs when they make terrible calls that put players at risk? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Tyler said he's been getting ejected all season for supporting his players. And he's right. These coaches are watching their players get beat up while refs look the other way. And when they speak up, they're the ones who get punished. That's backwards as hell. And Stephanie White? Don't even get me started on how they've been treating her team. This woman has been professional all season, but even she's starting to lose it watching how they officiate her games. After watching Caitlin deal with all these no calls, she finally called the officiating egregious, and she was being nice about it. I went back and looked at the stats, and the Indiana Fever are getting called for way more fouls than their opponents in games where the officiating is questionable. It's not even close. In their recent losses, the Fever got out-rebounded because players were afraid to go up strong, knowing they wouldn't get calls. They shot worse from the free throw line because they weren't getting to the line as much as they should have been. The whole flow of their games gets messed up when refs let the other team play physical while calling ticky-tack fouls on Indiana. And it's not just me saying this. The fans have been documenting everything. They're tracking missed calls, noting which refs are working which games, and building actual cases against specific officials. These aren't just angry fans complaining. They're doing investigative work that the league should be doing. This is the part that really gets me heated. Commissioner Cathy is out here getting paid good money to run this league, but every time there's a controversial situation involving officiating, she goes quiet. Players are getting hurt. Coaches are getting ejected for protecting them. Fans are organizing boycotts. And where's Cathy? Probably at some event getting her drinks on, acting like she doesn't see the chaos happening in her own league. She did an interview where she said the league needs drama and rivalries for compelling content. But there's a difference between competitive rivalry and systematic bias in officiating. What's happening to the Fever isn't drama, it's negligence. Here's what's really got the league shook. The fans aren't just complaining anymore. They're organizing, they're coordinating, they're building actual power. Remember what happened to Kelly Krauskopf, the Indiana Fever president? She made one comment comparing her team to Apple, and the fans came for her so hard she had to delete all her social media. Not because of random anger, because they coordinated a campaign that made her life miserable until she retreated. These fans are tracking referee performance, organizing economic boycotts, and building social media campaigns that can take down executives in hours. They've proven they have real power, and they're not afraid to use it. The Reddit communities are documenting every missed call. The Twitter accounts are building massive followings around player protection. The TikTok creators are reaching millions with breakdowns of referee bias. This isn't just fandom anymore, it's a movement. Here's what the WNBA doesn't want to admit. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are driving their revenue right now. When the Fever play, attendance goes up across the league. When Caitlin gets hurt or frustrated, fans get angry. When fans get angry, they stop spending money. The Fever's home games have been selling out, and it's not because people want to watch poorly officiated games. It's because they want to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball, not get beaten up while refs pretend they don't see it. But if this pattern continues, if they don't start protecting their biggest stars, those fans will turn on the league. And when surveys show that 75% of Fever fans will follow Caitlin wherever she goes, that means they'll abandon the WNBA if she does. That's economic leverage the league can't ignore forever. I think what's happening is bigger than just bad officiating. I think there are people in the WNBA who are threatened by Caitlin Clark's popularity and the attention she's bringing to the league. Think about it. This rookie comes in, breaks attendance records, brings in new fans, generates more media coverage than the league has ever gotten, and suddenly the officiating in her games becomes questionable? That's not a coincidence. There are players, coaches, and executives who were comfortable with the way things were before Caitlin got here. Now she's changing everything, and some people don't like change, so they're trying to humble her through officiating. But what they don't understand is that the fans see what's happening. They're documenting it, they're organizing around it, and they're building power to fight back against it. Sophie figured out something genius. Every time the league punishes her for defending Caitlin, it actually makes her more valuable. Her brand grows, her following increases, her influence expands. Other players are starting to notice this. When you get fined for standing up for what's right, and fans rally around you to pay those fines while making you more popular, that changes the whole dynamic of how players interact with league authority. The WNBA created a system where punishment for doing the right thing actually rewards you. That's going to encourage more players to speak up, not fewer. What we're really watching is a battle for control of the WNBA's narrative. The old system was simple. The league controlled the message, traditional media amplified approved narratives, and fans consumed content without much influence. But now, fan networks control message creation, amplification, and they can apply real economic pressure when they're not happy. They proved they can take down executives, support players who speak out, and build movements that force institutional change. The league is losing control of its own story, and they don't know how to handle it. So they're trying to reassert control through officiating, through fines, through traditional authority structures. But it's not working. First, Commissioner Cathy needs to stop hiding and address the officiating concerns publicly. Not some generic "we're reviewing" procedure statement, but real accountability for refs who consistently make questionable calls. Second, the league needs to implement transparent referee evaluation systems. If players and coaches can be graded and held accountable for their performance, why can't referees face the same scrutiny? Third, the need to protect their investment. Caitlin Clark is bringing unprecedented attention and money to the WNBA. Allowing systematic bias against her team is terrible business strategy. The fan networks that organized the Kelly Krauskopf takedown are still active. They're still building infrastructure, still coordinating campaigns, still growing their influence. What happened to her was just the beta test. They've proven they can move faster than traditional media, hit harder than corporate pressure, and sustain campaigns longer than anyone expected. When they decide someone isn't protecting Caitlin Clark or treating the fever fairly, they can make that person's professional life very uncomfortable very quickly. The Reddit communities are planning strategies. The Twitter accounts are building consensus around targets. The TikTok creators are reaching new audiences every day. This movement is growing, not shrinking. The Fever still has games left, and every single one is going to be watched by fans who are looking for patterns of bias. Stephanie White knows her team is being targeted. The players know they have to protect each other because the refs won't do it. If this pattern of questionable officiating continues, if more players get hurt while refs look the other way, the fan backlash is going to get even more intense, and honestly, it should. These fans care more about competitive integrity and player safety than the people running the league seem to. That's a problem that goes way beyond basketball. What we're witnessing is the emergence of fan-controlled accountability in professional sports. When leagues won't protect players, when commissioners stay silent during crises, when traditional oversight fails, organized fans step up. They're not just posting angry comments anymore. They're building economic leverage, coordinating pressure campaigns, and forcing institutional responses that traditional sports media never could achieve. The WNBA has a choice: start listening to these fans and addressing their legitimate concerns, or face escalating pressure campaigns every time they fail to protect their players fairly. Commissioner Cathy can keep collecting her checks and pretending everything is fine, but the fans have tasted victory. They took down an executive in 12 hours. They turned player fines into community fundraising events. They've proven they have real power. And they're not backing down until this league starts treating Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and all players with the fairness and protection they deserve. This is just the beginning. The fans are organized, they're motivated, and they're not going anywhere. Welcome to the new era of sports accountability, where fans don't just watch, they act. What do you think? Are the fans right to organize like this, or are they going too far? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is just getting started, and it's going to determine the future of women's basketball.